Year 2025. A game called Shenki was announced. The world did not yet know that this was no ordinary game. The power inside it that could be brought out into reality. From that moment, the world changed fundamentally, heralding catastrophic disasters. One man stood at the edge of the peak. Qin Feng was only half a step away from ultimate power, but who would have thought that only one close to him would drive a blade into his back? His own sister. As he fell, a divine artifact he had received gave him something unexpected, a second chance, reincarnation. He opened his eyes to the past, and he swore, "This time I will no longer recognize you as my sister." He chose a completely different path. He became Shadow. Now, his speed of growth is hundreds of times faster than his previous life. He moves forward within the darkness, honing skills, hunting bosses, gathering power, and soon, he will come looking for the one who wronged him. Revenge. This is the story of a man reborn. A man who walks alone, grows alone, and will rise to claim everything that was stolen from him. I am Shadow. This is the recap of chapters 1 through 10. If you're ready for a journey of betrayal, rebirth, and unstoppable power, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's begin. Qin Feng overcame endless dangers and barely escaped death countless times. Finally, he conquered the ancient god's ruins. He obtained the divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment. But then Qin Xiaoyu appeared before him. She told him he was really something. Even under a 100-fold accelerated aging effect, he had still managed to clear the ruins. But now she would be taking the divine artifact. Qin Feng coughed blood. A blade was embedded in his body. He asked her why she would betray him at a time like this. He reminded her that he was her brother, but she laughed coldly. She said he was nothing but an adopted child her parents had taken in. He did not even share her blood, yet he dared to call himself her brother. Song Fei appeared beside her and told her that was no way to talk. She turned around and exclaimed, "Brother Song Fei," excitedly. He said this so-called brother of hers had come in handy. Song Fei took the Eye of Judgment from her hands. He said she really should thank him. Without him, they would never have gotten the divine artifact to completely drain his lifespan in one go. He had gone through great lengths to obtain the soul-stealing blade that was now stabbed into his body. He asked if he liked his parting gift. Qin Feng looked at her. He said he had raised her after their parents passed, supported her through school, and after the game descended he had risked his life countless times for her. He told her he had really misjudged her, his dear sister. Her expression twisted. She said that after their parents died, he kept interfering in her life, bossing her around, controlling her. Before, when she and Song Fei needed his protection, he was still somewhat useful. But now that they had the divine artifact, his only value was gone. Song Fei jumped closer and told him to just die in peace. He said he would take good care of Xiaoyu for him. Even as he was dying, Qin Feng growled that he would not let her get away with this. And with that, he got unalived and lost his core faculty. In the year 2035, the God-forsaken game descended. As long as a person fell asleep, they were forcibly pulled into the game world. The only currency in the game was lifespan. Dying caused a loss of lifespan, while killing monsters granted lifespan. From that moment, the world changed drastically, and chaos spread. Qin Feng overcame endless dangers and barely escaped death countless times. Finally, he conquered the ancient god's ruins. He obtained the divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment. At last he had the qualification to reach the peak. But who would have thought? The price of his success was the betrayal of his only family. All his efforts in life amounted to nothing but interference. All his struggles only paved the way for someone else's success. He refused to accept this. If I could live again. He woke up in his room. He did not know where he was at first, then realized it was the real world. He had been dead, but now he was alive. He looked at the calendar. It was 20 to 5. He understood that he had been reborn. He had returned to 9 years ago, the day the God-forsaken game would descend. The front door opened. Qin Xiaoyu came in, demanding why he had not answered her call. Before the game descended, Song Fei had been a somewhat famous underground idol, and Qin Xiaoyu was his obsessed fan. The groupies and fangirls had already started to infringe upon her idol's interests. She felt she had to go support him. She considered the stalkers and sassing fans disgusting, clinging to her brother like a sticky plaster. She blamed Qin Feng for everything. She said it was all his fault if she ended up like a small shrimp. She complained that he was constantly obstructing her, cutting off her money, and not letting her rank up. But the truth was that Song Fei seemed glamorous on the surface but was a complete scumbag who had tricked many of his female fans out of money in their bodies to prevent Qin Xiaoyu from being scammed. Qin Feng had always forbidden her from hanging around that guy. In the end, he was accused of controlling her life. She kept yelling at him, saying it was because of him that her brother dropped off the top rank that month, demanding money to rank up. Qin Feng stood up and struck her cheek. She stumbled back, pressing her hand to her face, shocked that he had actually hit her. He said he was not in the mood to argue with her today. If they keeps barking, he will smash that mouth of hers. He continued. This was the money left by their parents. No matter how hard he had been those years, he never touched a single cent. He told her he would return it all to her today. For their parents' sake, he would not stoop to her level. But from now on, he, Qin Feng, would have no sister like her in his past life. To protect Qin Xiaoyu, he had missed too many opportunities, too many secret treasures in dungeons that needed risk-taking exploration. He had given up on them. He looked at a bottle of sleeping pills. He was curious how far he could go without this burden. He decided that this time he would use his understanding of the game from his past life to stay ahead of everyone. Qin Xiaoyu was on her own now, and Song Feihe would personally take his head. He arrived at the career choice hall. He missed this place. The first time he came, he had been so nervous that it took him several hours to complete his career choice and leave. This time, he needed to be quicker. In his past life, he had chosen the warrior to protect Qin Xiaoyu. The warrior was not weak, but it was not the right fit for him anymore. Without Qin Xiaoyu's burden, he would be able to clear solo much faster. Mobility and reaction time were the most important. He decided that this life he would choose assassin. The Eye of Judgment activated. Its unique attribute was Authority of Judgment. Its passive effect granted that when entering the Forsaken game, he would automatically gain the highest ranked profession and talent. The Eye of Judgment had bound itself to him after his rebirth. He realized that as long as the artifact recognized its master, even if it was stolen, it was useless. Perhaps he had been reborn because of it. A message announced that he had gained a hidden profession. Specialization began and then completed. He had become Shadow. He realized this was the highest tier hidden profession for assassins. It was completely different from the warrior he chose in his previous life. Just gaining this profession gave him such power. He understood that every profession had a very small chance of unlocking its hidden higher tier profession, and the Authority of Judgment made this probability a certainty. He wondered what exactly it was. The description of Authority of Judgment appeared. It was the most genuine and ancient primal authority in the universe. Its power surpassed rules and order. He temporarily could not actively activate this authority because he did not possess divinity. But its passive effect was active. He thought about his past life. It was not until the 7th year after the God-forsaken game descended that a strong player managed to leave the gods, abandoned realm and reach the realm of order. Only then did humanity learn about the existence of order's power. But even years later, no one ever obtained the power of order. He never expected that now, at the start of his journey, he had already gained the primal authority that surpassed order and rules. As long as he could leave the god's abandoned realm and reach the realm of order to obtain divinity, he could activate this authority. It seemed he had another goal this life. The system prompted him to enter his game, Alias. Since his profession was born from the Shadow, he chose the alias Shadow. His alias was registered and he entered the god's abandoned realm. He arrived in Shelltown, a safe zone. A message told him this was a ruined land filled with countless monsters. They were always ready to tear him apart and steal his lifespan. Leaving the town and killing monsters would earn tradable lifespan, but if he died in the game, he would lose half his lifespan, both tradable and non-tradable. The area was a safe zone where no monsters existed and players could not attack each other. Lifespan loss speed was 1x. Around him, other players appeared, confused. They wondered where they were. Some thought they were hallucinating. Others realized it was not a dream and they had been pulled into some kind of game. Powerful figures from various countries would appear one after another, reshaping the order of this world. A group of players noticed Qin Feng. They thought he seemed to be a hidden class and asked if he wanted to team up. They said the monsters outside were really strong and they could not handle them alone. Their team had been wiped out once, so they had experience. He replied with a sarcastic question. Was it the experience from being killed? Then he said no need. As he walked away, one of them mocked him. They thought he was pretending to be a pro. All 5 of them could not beat the monsters, yet he thought he could do it alone. They called it hilarious and said he was seeking death. Another tried to defend him, saying he was a noble hidden class and an assassin type, so if he could not win, he could just run. They looked at his alias, Shadow, and scoffed that he was really acting high. They decided to follow and see what skills he had. Maybe they could get some new information on monsters, and maybe they would see how he died. The land abandoned by the gods was far too eerie and perilous. Many players, relying on years of online gaming experience, quickly formed parties. Yet the very first monster they encountered outside the beginner village wiped them out completely. It was absolutely not an enemy a level 1 player could defeat. A small group of players noticed Qin Feng, whose alias was Shadow. They observed that his starting weapon was different from theirs, a short blade instead of a dagger. He was even faster than them, and his outfit was different too. They concluded that this Shadow player was highly unusual and that following him might lead to crucial intel. Qin Feng glanced back towards the people behind him briefly. That alerted the person and wondered if Qin Feng noticed them following him. He then used Shadow Sneak skill. Suddenly, Qin Feng vanished into thin air. The players realized it was a stealth skill, a starting skill that granted invisibility. They wondered what kind of overpowered class this was. Deciding it was too dangerous outside, they headed back to town to search for ways to improve themselves. They had already died once, and their remaining lifespan had been halved. Hidden from their view, Qin Feng examined his skills. His stealth skill, Shadow Sneak, allowed him to enter stealth for a duration. Attacking would reveal him, but the first strike after breaking stealth dealt increased damage. His stealth mastery doubled stealth duration and increased his stealth level by 1 dot. He knew they could not see him. The Shadow class was extraordinary. A normal assassin's stealth at this level would be easy to detect, but the Shadow class had its unique stealth mastery, making it impossible for anyone or even monsters to notice him in the early game. He considered the other players naive fools. The beginner town had nothing that could actually improve strength. It was just a shelter for players. In this forsaken game, weak players were nothing but prey for monsters. His stealth was ending, but the cooldown started as soon as he activated it. Just a few more seconds, and he could vanish again. Qin Feng checked his status. His class was Shadow, level 1. Non-tradable lifespan was 75 years. Tradable lifespan 0. His base stats were 10 across the board, with additional bonuses from his class. Strength +3, Constitution +3, Agility +8, Spirit +5. All players started with base stats of 10, with different classes granting additional bonuses. In his past life as a warrior, he had only gained 3 points to Strength and Constitution, but this time, the Shadow class boosted every stat, and Agility was boosted by a whopping 8 points. He had 5 free attribute points to allocate. Most players dumped their points into Strength or Spirit to boost physical or magic attack power, but he knew that was a huge mistake. Instead, he allocated all 5 points to Agility. Agility was the key. In the early game, no matter how one allocated stats, monsters always dealt overwhelming damage to players. The only way to kill monsters without taking damage was to boost agility and increase speed. Qin Feng suddenly heard a noise. Ahead, he spotted a creature behind a tree. It is a level 1 crawler. In the midst of evolving that it was still absorbing lifespan. This was the same monster that had wiped out the 4-player party. Judging from its wounds, they had managed to take a chunk of its health. When monsters killed players, they gained the player's lifespan. If they absorbed enough, they could evolve. Qin Feng activated stealth. Then he moved into position above the crawler. He struck with Stealth Break Strike, pinning the crawler into the ground. A single blow dealt 174 damage. The crawler was slain instantly. He gained 10 experience points that he had not expected a one-shot kill. Attacking a crawler's nape triggered a critical hit, but this damage was insane. Then he remembered his backstab skill doubled damage if the attack came from outside the enemy's vision. Stacked with multiple skills, it created a terrifying damage multiplier. He recalled his past life as a warrior, when even a critical hit barely did 40 damage, and he had to struggle for ages to kill a crawler. Nearly dying in the process, he gained 3 days of tradable lifespan in 54 years. 155 days of non-tradable lifespan. 5 people had died, each losing at least 20 to 30 years. The crawler had absorbed most of it, so he only received 54 years. Non-tradable lifespan was not useful for now. Then the Eye of Judgment's authority activated. He obtained a primal talent, Infinite Evolution, when killing monsters solo. He had a chance to earn evolution points to upgrade skills. Every 24 hours he gained 5 evolution points. Defeating a boss-class monster solo guaranteed evolution points. He currently had 5 points. Infinite Evolution. He could upgrade skills. This was power beyond rules and order. In his past life he had never heard of anything like this. No matter what gear or skill book dropped from monsters, its grade was fixed. There was no way to improve it. He decided to test it. He spent 4 evolution points to upgrade Shadow Sneak and Backstab. Shadow Sneak upgraded from normal to bronze. Stealth duration increased from 12 seconds to 16 seconds. The breaking stealth attack bonus increased from 60 to 90. Cooldown reduced from 28 seconds to 26 seconds. Backstab enhancement upgraded from inferior to normal. Attacks from behind now dealt 15% more damage instead of 10 with stealth mastery. The 16 seconds of Shadow Sneak doubled to 32 seconds. He could now maintain near-permanent invisibility. If his skills had been upgraded earlier, he could have one-shot even a full health crawler. Nearby, other players watched. One commented that a scrawny guy was taking down a monster solo. Another said the game was easy. They boasted about their strength and offered to carry Qin Feng, calling him a struggling player. Qin Feng then noticed something on top of the tree. He identified it as a nurturer. He quickly entered Shadow Sneak and vanished. When Qin Feng vanished using stealth, they assumed he had been intimidated by their muscles and laughed it off. Then they noticed something above them. When they looked, they were shocked to see a massive creature. It was a nurturer. A level 1 bronze grade beginner boss with around 1600 health. It commanded a swarm of smaller spiders. It was not something a normal rookie could handle. Qin Feng saw the boss and smiled. Perfect. Now he could see just how strong his upgraded skills really were. Qin Feng activated stealth and moved behind the nurturer. He struck a stealth break strike, landed directly on a weak point. 338 damage flashed across his vision. The creature screeched in pain, but it retaliated. One of its limbs lashed out, grazing him. 9 damage. Close. With only 130 health, a solid hit would have killed him instantly. Fortunately, his agility was high enough to avoid the worst of it. The nurturer went into a rage. These monsters were intelligent. They would not just stand there and take hits. It began attacking indiscriminately, trying to pinpoint his location. The little spiders scattered around it went on high alert. Qin Feng knew he could not rush in recklessly anymore, but he had a plan. He picked up a rock from the ground. He had a suspicion, and decided to test. Then he threw the rock towards the monster and dealt 299 weak point attack to Manhwa. With that, he confirmed his suspicion. His main damage output came from stealth's ambush strike bonus and his class skill enhancements. Even throwing a rock at the enemy would still deal solid damage. He waited for Shadow Sneak to come off cool. Then he activated stealth and threw the rock. The projectile struck the nurturer's weak point. The ambush, strike, backstab, and weak point attack bonuses all applied. 279 damage. Immediately after the throw, he reactivated Shadow Sneak and vanished again. He stayed hidden until the skill was off cooldown, then attacked again with another rock dot. A system announcement rang out across Shelltown. The leaderboard was now active. Player Shadow had slain the Nurturer, a bronze grade boss, and was the first to reach level 2. Confusion erupted among the other players. Someone had soloed a boss while they were still being wiped out by normal monsters. Many wondered who this Shadow was. The group that had followed Qin Feng earlier recognized his alias. They could not believe it. They could not even handle normal mobs in a party. Yet he had killed a bronze boss alone. Some wondered if it was a system error. Another player recalled the huge spider and the swarm of little ones still around. They guessed it must have been that stealthy assassin from earlier. Qin Feng examined the loot. The Nurturer's death had given him 300 experience points, propelling him to level 2. He earned 2 evolution points, unlocked the leaderboard, and gained 1 reputation point. He regretted not killing the little spiders first. They had scattered the moment the boss died, and the extra experience was lost. He obtained 46 days of tradable lifespan. 2 items dropped, a skill book called Greedy Hand, and a corrosive dagger. Greedy Hand was a bronze grade assassin skill. After learning it, he could use it on slain monsters for a 20% chance to obtain an additional loot reward. It required level 1. Qin Feng was astonished. He had not expected a bronze boss to drop such a god-tier assassin skill. In his past life, he remembered a player from the Godslayer guild whose combat strength was average, but because he had this skill, he became one of the most sought-after players, even having a personal bodyguard. He considered the possibilities. Even though the activation rate was only 20%, if he combined it with his infinite evolution talent, he could endlessly boost both the drop rate and loot quantity. The potential was limitless. In the real world, Qin Xiaoyu sat with a friend. The friend asked if she was going to call her brother and apologize. They had skipped the exam the day before to secretly go support Song Fei, and her brother must be really angry. Xiaoyu refused. She said she did nothing wrong, so why should she apologize? If it were not for him, they would not have almost missed the entrance time. He should be the one apologizing to her. Her friend pointed out that he treated her so well. She envied Xiaoyu for having such a brother, but Xiaoyu dismissed it. She said he was always meddling in her business all day long, and it was not like he was her real brother. Brother Song Fei was enough for her. Her friend noticed a mark on Xiaoyu's face and asked what happened. Xiaoyu lied and said she tripped and fell. They noticed a large crowd gathered around their classroom. When her friend peeked into the classroom, she noticed a person assumingly sleeping on his desk. However, something was weird. She asked worriedly, what was wrong with Zhang Wei and why was he turning transparent? His classmate mentioned that they were not sure. Zhang Wei just took a nap and became like this. News had spread. The phenomenon was not isolated, it was all over the internet. People worldwide were experiencing the same thing. Some experts said that as long as a person fell asleep, they would enter a semi-transparent, phantom-like state. No one knew why yet. Xiaoyu's friend said she needed to call her parents and warn them. She suggested Xiaoyu call her brother too, just in case. Xiaoyu scoffed. She said she would never contact him first. She muttered that a guy like Hemet would be better if he just dropped dead in the game. Qin Feng checked his skills. Greedy Hand had evolved successfully. It had gone from bronze to gold. The chance of obtaining an extra piece of loot had increased from 20% to 70%. He had learned Greedy Hand +2. The skill activated successfully. He gained 2 evolution points and 46 days of tradable lifespan. He laughed, satisfied. He had gotten an extra 2 evolution points. To evolve Greedy Hand 2 + 3, he needed 3 points. Soon he would have a 100% chance of getting extra loot. The world's governments must have caught on to the situation by now. More and more people would flood into the game. He needed to speed up his progress. He equipped whatever he could use the corrosive dagger, which granted 35 attack and 4 agility, requiring level 1. It would not be long before people realized that the skills and equipment from this game could be extracted into the real world. When that happened, the world would be thrown into chaos. Extracting skills and equipment required two conditions. First, reaching level 10. Second, having enough tradable lifespan. Grinding small monsters took too long. He needed to find stronger bosses. He suddenly heard some noise coming from several people. Curious, he approached where the sound came from. A battle was taking place nearby. A party of players fought a bronze grade level 2 sprint predator. Qin Feng thought it was a perfect time to test his new abilities and strengths. Then he noticed among them was Wang Meng. He did not expect to find Wang Meng here. So the rumor was true about Wang Meng assembled an entire team of hidden class players when he first entered Forsaken Game. Wang Meng possessed a hidden class called Holy Shield Warrior. It had twice the base stats of a regular warrior and came with an innate invincibility skill. Another player had the mage class hidden profession Prophet, dealing double spell damage and coming with a built-in prophetic fireball. An archer had the sharp-eyed shooter hidden profession, with double stats and a built-in rapid shot skill. A priest had the oracle priest hidden profession, with double healing power and a group healing skill. Despite their powerful classes, they were struggling. The boss was too fast. Their ranged attacks were not hitting. Wang Meng called for the healers to keep him alive and for everyone to keep attacking. He believed they could whittle it down eventually. But Qin Feng, watching from the shadows, knew Wang Meng was too optimistic. This was the wilds. If a battle dragged on, other monsters would be drawn in. A corruptor appeared, a level 2 regular monster covered in dark brown sludge that used ranged attacks. The party was in danger. The boss noticed the new threat. Someone shouted a warning. Another hidden class appeared that Qin Feng had not seen before. He watched as one of the party members attacked the corruptor, but its defense was too high, only 33 damage. The corruptor used a ground bind skill, slowing the party's movement speed. They were in trouble. The situation looked grim. The mage was about to be attacked by the corruptor. Qin Feng acted immediately. He rushed in and deleted the corruptor in one hit, prompting surprise from the entire party. They were shocked the corruptor was one shot. The party was stunned. Who had done that? Someone was helping them. Even for a level 1 crawler, they usually had to gang up for 10 seconds to take it down. But a level 2 corruptor had been killed instantly. How was that possible? But then it happened again with the second corruptor. They were shocked to confirm it really was an instant kill. No one had seen who did it. The party leader told everyone not to get distracted and to keep attacking the sprint predator. Qin Feng had slain to he gained 40 experience points, 1 evolution point, a skill book called Venom Dart, and 8 days of tradable lifespan. Venom Dart was a mid-range poison damage skill. Perfect. He evolved it immediately to +2, reaching silver grade. It threw a deadly poison dart with a maximum range of 14 meters, dealing 120 attack damage on hit and inflicting a venom status that dealt 50% continuous damage per second for 5 seconds. Cooldown was 5 seconds. The requirement was level 2. The battle against the sprint predator continued. Wang Meng could not defend against a 2-pronged attack and took heavy damage. The sprint predator lifted Wang Meng, showcasing its soon-to-be victim. The healer could not keep up. Wang Meng told his teammates to run. Then, a devastating attack struck the boss. It wiped out half of its health. The party watched in disbelief. Then they noticed the sprint predator kept bleeding and a massive amount of its health was draining until it met its end. Qin Feng had dealt over 90% of the damage. The loot belonged to him. He slew the sprint predator, gaining 600 experience points and reaching level 3. He gained 2 more evolution points and 55 days of tradable lifespan. He realized that Venom Dart's damage over time had triggered his class's passive ability. With stealth, he could stay invisible and throw darts indefinitely. Nothing in the early and mid-game could stop him now. The surviving party members were shocked by the damage. The loot light vanished. Wang Meng coughed and asked the mysterious savior for his name, thanking him for saving them. Qin Feng replied coldly, "Out in the wilds. Do not trust people so easily." Wang Meng understood. He thanked him for the advice and said they would not disturb him while he checked his loot. He introduced himself as Wang Meng and said if Qin Feng ever needed anything to feel free to find him. A girl named Heibu Linli Zai asked if she could add him as a friend, but the party leader told everyone it was enough talk and to leave. Qin Feng considered Wang Meng. He seemed reliable, plus he had the backing of Daxia's government and plenty of resources. Qin Feng needed a stable sales channel. He could sell his unused loot to Wang Meng. He activated Greedy Hand again. He gained 3 more evolution points, another 55 days of tradable lifespan, and a piece of equipment. Sprint Predator's leather greaves. It was bronze-grade assassin gear, requiring level 2, granting 9 physical defense, 5 all-elemental resistances, and 15% cooldown speed. He had a great haul. He still had plenty of other class gear and skill books. Once his bag was full, he would head back to town and trade it all for lifespan. This time, his growth was 100 times faster than in his past life. He thought of Song Fei. "I will be coming for you soon." More and more monsters appeared. A group of players ran for their lives. One of them stood frozen in place, and another shouted at him to move. The monsters swarmed. A player screamed, asking what was happening. The monster then attacked all the players. Then another cry of terror. After reviving, a player cursed. Monsters always appeared in packs and fled when they had little life left. Another pointed out that one needed to be level 3 to exit the game. How were they supposed to reach level 3? It seemed they needed to gather more people. A team of 3 was not enough. Maybe 6, or even 10. But another player said it probably would not work either. He had once seen a team of 10 people being massacred by a huge pack of monsters, and if there were too many people, they would attract a boss. He had just seen a group of 40 people attract something called the Damned, which killed more than 30 of them with a single ability. If they could not reach level 3, would they end up trapped here forever? They had all gotten here after falling asleep. Only their consciousnesses were here. If they could not leave the game, their bodies would starve to death. One player cursed, asking why this game was so hard. Another said they had already died 3 times and had less than 10 years of tradable life left. They wondered what if the leader told them that whether it was real or not, they could not die again. They looked at the ranking list. Rank 1 was Shadow, an assassin, level 3. Rank 2 was Wong Meng, a warrior, level 1. Rank 3 was Balala, a warrior, level 1. One player exclaimed that this Shadow guy was leveling up so fast. He must know some method. They had to find a way for him to get them to level 3 so they could leave this game. Someone offered to spread the word. If Shadow got them to level 3, when they returned to reality, they would give him 10 million in cash. Others were shocked by the amount. One admitted he could not remain indifferent to 10 million. Shadow Qin Feng continued hunting. He killed a contaminator, gaining 20 experience points and 1 evolution point. He now had enough evolution points. He evolved Hand of Ava. He spent 5 evolution points, leaving 0. The skill evolved from Platinum to Jade. It was an assassin skill that could be used on monster corpses with a 1% to 160% chance of obtaining an additional loot drop. The additional loot had a 20% chance to increase its rarity by 1 level. He was impressed. A 20% chance for the additional loot to increase by 1 rarity level. The effect was incredible. If he kept evolving the skill, could it reach 100% or even 200%? He spotted a large creature. It was the Damned, a bronze-level boss. It seemed to be digesting life, advancing toward a silver-level boss. That was a lot of life. It had probably wiped out a group of 40 people. His backpack was already full. Even if he killed it, he would not be able to pick up anything. He decided to mark the spot on the map. The boss needed some time to level up first. He would empty his backpack again, and then go back to kill it. In town, players were talking. Someone was willing to pay 10 million so that the number 1 on the leaderboard, Shadow, could level them up. A player lamented that they were still dying, their life constantly decreasing. While the rich were already looking for solutions, the commoners definitely would not get out of here. Qin Feng suddenly appeared out of nowhere. He set up a stall selling equipment and skills. He announced that the sale would only last 10 minutes. Players gathered around, surprised. When did this person show up? He was carrying 2 sets of bronze gear and still wanted to sell 2 more. He must have killed a bronze-level boss. They looked at his name. Shadow. It was the number 1 on the leaderboard. They wondered why they could not see his face. He had activated the hide face function. Appearance in the game was the same as in reality. How mysterious. A woman asked how much for the Ice Cone spell skill book. Qin Feng answered, 100 days of tradable life. Onlookers recognized the woman as Grey Rose, currently ranked 11th in Shell Village. She had also activated hide face. Grey Rose said 100 days was too much. Could he make it cheaper? Qin Feng replied that the common skill Ice Cone spell greatly increased the speed of monster elimination in the early stages for mages. 100 days was already cheap. She asked if she could pay with real-world money. He said if she had a lot of cash, she could buy tradable life from others and then make a deal with him. If no one offered more, he could hold onto it for her. Grey Rose consulted her team through the team channel. They had reached level 2 so quickly thanks to their leader. They had no objections. With the Ice Cone spell, their team could reach level 3 faster. The important thing was to get out of the game first. They agreed to transfer their tradable life to her, and when they returned to reality, she would give them the money. She gave Qin Feng 100 days of life and made the deal. An entire level to team had killed at least 30 or 40 trackers. Their tradable life definitely exceeded 100 days. Qin Feng sold the Ice Cone spell skill book and obtained 100 days of tradable life. His tradable life increased from 268 days to 368 days. A woman approached him. She said she had finally found him, Shadow. She introduced herself as Zhang Li. She gave him a chance, telling him to just take her to level 3. When they returned to reality, she would give him 10 million in cash. Onlookers were amazed. Someone had actually offered 10 million for Shadow. They thought earning 10 million so easily was unbelievable. Qin Feng knew who she was. In his past life, she was the leader of a criminal gang, which was later wiped out by the authorities. Reports said she used cash to buy tradable life as bait, kidnapped many people to work for her and killed those who disobeyed in reality. Zhang Li boasted that her father was the president of Dajang Industries. He could ask anyone. She told him not to worry about whether she could pay. Qin Feng looked at her. He said one word, scum. He rejected her offer. Zhang Li argued that although he was strong in this game, right now no one knew what was going on with this game. If he joined her, she guaranteed he would live like a king. Cars, houses, women, whatever he wanted. Qin Feng told her that if she was not going to buy, to step aside and not interfere with his business. Cash was useless. The universal currency would be tradable life. Zhang Li laughed. She called him trash. She said she was doing him a favor by asking him to take her. If they were in reality, she would teach him a lesson right now. Qin Feng's voice turned cold. One more word, and he would kill her until her life reached zero. The party got scared and promptly scattered away from Qin Feng. He finished selling his items. He sold the dim light tunic for 19 days of tradable life. His tradable life increased from 527 days to 546 days. All sold, he closed the store. Now he was stronger. It was time to take care of the damned. At this moment, no one knew that tradable life could extract skills into reality. No one knew that the god-forsaken game would cause the order of reality to collapse. The legacy they once were proud of would soon become insignificant. Only one's own strength would be the basis of everything. Zhang Li was furious. Shadow had not only refused her offer but even dared to threaten her. Once she returned to reality, she would make sure to kill him. A man approached her. He greeted her as Sister Li Zai. He introduced himself as Mao Legion, but she could call him Old Mao. He was currently level 2 and knew some tricks for leveling up. He asked if the 10 million still stood. Zhang Li asked what tricks. Old Mao said he did not usually share this with just anyone, but since it was Sister Li Zai, he would make an exception. He explained that if she wanted to level up efficiently, she must put all 5 initial attribute points into agility. That way, their full sprint speed would be just fast enough to outrun crawlers. Zhang Li realized that was how this game worked. She had already put her 5 initial points into strength. She admitted Old Mao knew a thing or two and agreed to let him take her leveling, but she said he was not as strong as Shadow. She could give him 5 million. Would he accept? Get her to level 3, and she would pay him in cash when they returned to reality. Old Mao said no problem. He commented that Shadow may be strong, but he seemed to have some brain issues. Turning down a simple 10 million, what an idiot. Meanwhile, Qin Feng observed the boss, the damned. As expected, it had already evolved to silver tier. It was shrouded in gray mist and was still evolving. The evolution from silver to gold would take at least 7 or 8 hours. He was too lazy to wait. He attacked. A stealth break strike landed. 659 damage. The boss screeched. More damage numbers appeared. 219 repeatedly. Qin Feng entered Shadow Sneak in preparation for his next attack. A silver tier boss had 2 to 3 times the HP of a bronze tier boss. But to Qin Feng, that was just the equivalent of 2 or 3 venom darts. The Curse Master was a mage-type boss. Most of its skills were area attacks and dealt high damage. After throwing a venom dart, he immediately backed off, barely escaping its attack range. Had he been hit with his current HP and defense, he would be as good as dead. He had to wait until Stealth's cooldown ended, then launch an attack during a lull in the boss's assault. Immediately after, he needed to activate Stealth to exit its attack range. He continued the pattern. Another Stealth break strike for 659 damage, followed by poison ticks of 219. The boss's HP was nearly depleted. It started to flee. Qin Feng remarked that surrendering without resistance made things so much easier for him. He slew the Curse Master. He gained 1800 experience points and reached level 5. He earned 4 evolution points and obtained 12.4 days of tradable lifespan. He laughed, unable to believe he had leveled up 2 times and even got 4 evolution points. He used Greedy Hand successfully. He gained 4 more evolution points, then another 4. He obtained 12.4 days of tradable lifespan twice. He had directly received the bonus reward twice. This silver tier boss granted him 12 evolution points and 372 days of tradable lifespan. Greedy Hand's extra effect triggered. One of his loot items was upgraded from silver tier to gold tier. That meant it dropped gold tier loot. As expected of the Emerald Greedy Hand, it had a 20% chance to upgrade extra loot by 1 tier. He looked at the pile of loot. 7 or 8 pieces of equipment had dropped, but his backpack only had 10 slots. He could not possibly kill a boss and then just run back. What a waste of time. He hoped this Curse Master would drop a storage ring or something so he could get more slots. Elsewhere, a group of players returned to town alive. They thanked Wang Meng for helping them reach level 3 safely. Wang Meng said this was the result of all their hard work together. One player lamented that she had not added that big shot as a friend back then. She thought it must be because she was all muddy and the big shot despised that. Another joked that maybe if she had been wearing that freshly dropped gear back then, he might have agreed. The leaderboard updated. Shadow was still rank 1, now level 5. Wang Meng was rank 2 at level 3. Bilala was rank 3 at level 3. Players were shocked. Shadow had jumped directly from level 3 to level 5. Had he killed some insanely powerful boss? Just over 10 minutes ago, they saw the big shot selling equipment. How did he level up to more levels so fast? One player said his sister was 18 this year. He really hoped the big shot would take a liking to her. Then he might get a little benefit and some help leveling up. Another mocked that he would not even take 10 million, so why would he be interested in his sister? The first player cursed in frustration. Another exclaimed that they just hit level 3, and that guy was already at level 5. How were they supposed to live like this? Wang Meng coughed and said not to think about that too much right now. Let each of them return to reality and inform their family and friends about the God-forsaken game. The world was bound to fall into chaos. At the very least, they needed to warn those close to them to be prepared. He told everyone to log off for now. In the real world, Wang Meng woke up. His subordinates rushed to his side, relieved. They had been so worried about him. They asked if he was okay. He had turned semi-transparent. One said he told him to rest yesterday and came to keep an eye on a suspect for him. Wang Meng quickly told them to gather everyone together. Something major was happening. At the police station, officers debriefed Wang Meng. They confirmed that he had created a party of hidden professions and was almost entirely wiped out, but was saved by someone in the end. Wang Meng told them the savior's alias was Shadow. When he saved him, his level was only 3, but when they leveled up to level 3, Shadow was already level 5. He had jumped to levels to reach it. The officers were astonished. If he was level 5 now, then wasn't he the top player in the world? How did he do it? Maybe he killed a boss or something. Based on what Wang Meng said, Shadow was already level 3 an hour ago. Then why did he not come back to reality? Could it be that he had no close relatives in the real world and did not need to notify his family? Wang Meng admitted he did not know. Perhaps he really did not have a family. One officer joked that maybe Shadow was weren't transmigrators usually orphans and become strong very quickly? Another officer scolded her, telling her to read fewer novels and not make such jokes in serious situations. The information Wang Meng provided about the God-forsaken game matched the information from the higher-ups. There was new research showing that some older people died not long after they fell asleep. After collecting and comparing the data with employees who returned to reality, they indeed died many times in the game. That meant that if one's lifespan reached 0 in the game, they would die for real in reality. This was an abnormal thing beyond their understanding. They were most likely being invaded by some unknown higher beings. The higher-ups had given an emergency command. They were to form vanguard teams based on location, explore the God-forsaken game, and share information. They must quickly form a big professional army. This was a major event affecting the entire world. All nations were doing whatever they could to explore the God-forsaken game. If they fell behind in this aspect, it would mean losing authority in the world, so they must obtain information at all costs. An officer named Enyu was appointed captain of Team 1. Enyu acknowledged. Wang Meng would be vice captain. The two of them would choose their own teammates. Wang Meng acknowledged. From Wang Meng's descriptions, Shadow did not seem to have a bad character. They could try to make friends with him. The reason Enyu was assigned as captain was because her personality was most suitable for investigating Shadow. They hoped the two of them could discover Shadow's real identity as soon as possible. It would be best if they could establish cooperation with him as their representatives and obtain all the information he possessed. As for the rest, their most important order right now was to maintain the stability of society. Elsewhere, players discussed the game. Zhong Wei said that as long as those in the same district slept at the same period of time, they would appear in the same starter village. One player said this would not do. He had to go home and carry his parents. They had never played a game before and he was afraid they would not be used to it. Another advised not to involve themselves first. They could actually grow on their own and then carry their parents. Qin Xiaoyu sat alone, fuming. A major event like this happened and there was not a single reaction from Qin Feng, and he did not come to find her to apologize. He was this arrogant. Every time that guy got angry at her, he would find some way to pacify her. But not only did he not do so today, he even hit her. Her parents had never hit her before. All she did was skip class to see Brother Song Fei's concert. Damn Qin Feng, if he did not apologize to her 1,000 times this time, she would never forgive him. Fortunately, she went and saw Brother Song Fei yesterday. Otherwise, once this God-forsaken game came out, there would not be many opportunities. Yesterday they were so close, she really missed him. Then she realized since one would enter the game when sleeping, that meant Brother Song Fei would definitely enter it too. As long as she entered the game, she would find Brother Song Fei Zhong Wei leveled up to level 3 so quickly. He must definitely be an expert. She would go ask him. She sent a message to Zhang Wei, asking if he had any strategies to share. Zhang Wei was thrilled. He could not believe a lofty goddess like her came to find him for strategies. This was an opportunity given by the heavens. If he could get Qin Xiaoyu, he told her the secret. At the start of the game, put all attribute points into agility. Otherwise, she would not be fast enough and would be abused by the monsters. Xiaoyu asked if she should still put her points into agility if she was a magic type. Zhong Wei said yes. Agility was not completely useless to a magic type. It could increase casting speed, which was very important for early stages. Xiaoyu worried about what if she still could not win after adding all points into agility. Zheng Wei assured her not to worry. As long as someone in the village leveled up to level 5, they could activate the teleportation formation in the village to form a random party to level up. When the teleportation formation was opened, he would come find her and carry her to the sky. Xiao Yu was delighted. Sure enough, these simps were useful. She found someone to carry her. She scoffed at Qin Feng. She would show him she was entering the game right now. He could continue to be arrogant, but once he entered the game, he would see that she was at a much higher level than him. When that time came, she would not carry him to level up. In the game, Qin Feng examined his loot from the Curse Master. He had obtained a Curse Ring, gold tier, usable by all professions. It granted all attributes +8, Dark Elemental Resistance +26, and Weak Point Attack Multiplier +0.1. The equipment requirement was level 4. All attributes +8 was equal to 32 attribute points. This ring was equal to someone leveling up 3 levels, and it had a Dark Element Resistance effect too, which would be very useful against many monsters. Weak Point Attack Multiplier was 1.5 at the beginning. With this ring, it became 1.6. He also obtained a skill book, Instant Shadow / Silver Tier, Assassin type skill. It allowed him to flash in one direction at most 15 meters and enter an invisible state lasting 5 seconds, dealing 3 slashes to all enemies on the path. Cooldown was 12 seconds. Every slash dealt 100 attack and would be 100% considered backstep, but unable to cause damage to weak points. Learning requirement was level 4. This was a very strong area attack skill. He could teleport and even turn invisible. He learned it immediately. He still had some evolution points. He evolved Greedy Hand first, spending 8 points. Greedy Hand evolved from Jade to Diamond. It now had a 160 to 220% chance to obtain an extra loot drop, and the extra loot had a 40% chance to be 1 tier higher. Killing mobs now would give him 2 pieces of loot. Killing 1 mob was equal to killing 3. He used the remaining evolution points to raise Instant Shadow / by 3 tiers. He spent 3 points. The skill evolved from silver to gold to platinum. The flash distance increased from 15 to 21 meters. The invisible state lasted 7 seconds. It dealt 5 slashes to all enemies on the path, colliding with them twice. It dealt 20 attack on collision and would be 100% considered back. He noticed the cooldown time did not change, but just by relying on Instant Shadow / he could become invisible infinitely. The rest of the loot was garbage, though a silver tier warrior skill book called Battle Roar could sell for some money. Qin Feng suddenly heard a rustle from behind. It turned out to be a few level 4 limb crawlers. Perfect timing. He would use it to test the power of Instant Shadow / he activated the skill. The slashes connected. He slew the limb crawler, gaining 80 experience points and 5 days of tradable lifespan. The efficiency of killing monsters had increased again. If he used Venom Dart, he just needed 2 darts to kill 1 monster. The battle time had shortened, and this reduced the chance of incidents. Currently, he had 618 days of tradable lifespan, but to bring his equipment and skills to reality, he had to use at least 2.5 years of tradable lifespan. Specifically, he needed 900 days. He would go back first and sell all the items in his bag. He might have enough to reach the minimum lifespan required. Once he leveled up to level 10, he would be able to bring the skills and equipment in the game to reality. Mao Lijian congratulated Jiang Li. She had leveled up to level 3. Now she should fulfill her promise. Zhang Li told him not to worry. Did he think Dajiang Industries would not have his little bit of money? She would go back to reality right now. She gave him her phone number and told him to contact her directly. She also offered to buy his tradable lifespan, paying 10,000 for every day. Mao Lijian was thrilled. He said Shadow was a blind idiot for not taking a big boss like her seriously. He looked forward to talking more in reality. He laughed to himself. So what if the game could affect lifespan? He could farm lifespan anytime he wanted. Only those who converted gaming abilities into real money like him were geniuses. Qin Feng arrived at the teleportation formation in Shelltown. He activated it. A system announcement congratulated him for lighting up the teleportation formation. He received 1 reputation point. He could teleport once a day for free. Subsequent teleportations would consume tradable lifespan. At the moment, no other activated teleportation formation in Zhanghai City had been discovered. The teleportation formation in the beginner's town was 2-way. There was no use in just lighting up one side. Someone from other towns must reach level 5 and activate their teleportation formation to allow for teleportation. He remembered that in his previous life, Song Fei was in Firefly Town. He could set up an alert that would notify him immediately when someone activated Firefly Town's teleportation formation. But teleporting between towns was not a big deal. The main goal was to level up to level 10 and then head to the God's Abandoned Realm. That was where the God-forsaken game truly began. He set up a stall in town, selling equipment and skills for only 10 minutes. First come, first serve. Players gathered excitedly. Expert Shadow appeared again. One player had prepared 150 days of lifespan waiting for him to sell something. Another recalled that last time, the expert sold the icicle spell. which made Grey Rose shoot up to second place on the ranking list. They hoped there was a skill book for mages this time too. The crowd noticed there was spell books, but the one on offer was a silver tier battle roar skill book for warriors. A warrior quickly purchased it. The exchange was successful. He received 300 days of tradable lifespan. Some onlookers thought it was not worth it, but the buyer said their foresight was shallow. With this skill book, a warrior's efficiency in farming mobs would increase multiple fold. 300 days of lifespan could be farmed back in less than 2 days. Other players eagerly purchased the remaining items: a mage robe, shoes, and more. Qin Feng sold everything in 1 minute. He received 650 days of tradable lifespan this time. Right now, he had 2,174 days in total, but it was still not enough. If he wanted to bring his level, attributes, profession, and equipment into reality, he was still far away. Players begged him to sell a few more times. A player approached him. She said she had a treasure and asked if he wanted it. She showed him a space ring. It contained 12 slots of inventory space and did not occupy the ring or backpack equipment slot. This was a special storage equipment. Its value lay in not occupying the ring or backpack equipment slots. Every player could only carry at most 3 storage backpacks. Even though this thing could be dropped by any monster, the drop rate was extremely low. For this prophet to get it this early, her luck was too good. He asked how much she was selling it for. In the past, a 12-slot ring like this could sell for 3,600 days, but the player said she did not want his lifespan. She only wanted to add him as a friend and ask him to form a party with them to kill one boss. He agreed. Player Black Plum, Big Plum, accepted his friend request. He asked what kind of boss it was. She said it was gold tier. She did not manage to see its name as it was too far away, but it was a boat in the swamp that looked tattered. Qin Feng realized she was describing the Golden Ghost Ship. It was a rare special boss that could appear at any level. The appearance of this boss was extremely low, and it dropped some very useful special equipment. Every time the Golden Ghost Ship appeared, a fierce battle would break out among the various guilds because of it. A Golden Ghost Ship that appeared in the town should be level 5. This level of Golden Ghost Ship was the easiest to kill. To bump into the Golden Ghost Ship in the beginner village, receive the rare storage ring, and also be a member of Wang Meng's party. Could she be the rumored koi fish from his past life? He asked how she found this gold tier boss. She explained that after finishing her meal offline, she wanted to quickly go online and level up with her party, but they were leveling up so slowly. She had nothing to do, so she went for a stroll around and discovered that gold tier boss below a cliff. In his past life, it was rumored that Wang Meng's party had a member with a koi fish physique. When wandering around in the wild, she could encounter rare bosses, treasure chests, underground palaces, and temples. At first, he thought it was a smokescreen to cover up the information they had. He did not expect it to be real. It was her. The player noticed him staring and asked why he was looking at her like that. Meanwhile, a man was motivating his group. He told his brothers that back then. He also led them to conquer the overlord of Sand City. He assured them to rest easy, follow him, and he would make sure they had a good life. One of his men reported that Shadow had brought a girl out of town. The boss laughed. Sure enough, he was just a young brat. He could not resist a girl so soon. He told his brothers to come with him. Qin Feng discussed terms with Black Plum, Big Plum. He offered to help fight the boss. If the boss dropped any equipment and skill books that she could use, he would give them to her. The rest would belong to him. He asked how that sounded. She hesitated, wondering what about Captain Wang Meng and the others. He pointed out that her party had all sorts of classes. If no loot dropped for assassins, then he would have done it for nothing. She agreed to his terms but made a small request. If there was any equipment for Captain Wang Meng and the rest, could he sell it to them at a discount? He said no problem. She said they would set off after Captain Wang Meng came online. Then she asked where they were going now. He told her they were on the way to fight the gold tier boss. Her face was one of shock and terrified. As they walked, she grew nervous. She pointed out that he was an assassin and she was a mage. He could become invisible, but she could not tank it if it attacked her. He said he alone was enough. She could just watch from somewhere safe. She was shocked. One person killing a gold tier boss, although she knew the expert was very strong. This was too ridiculous. Suddenly, she looked around. He had disappeared. The players' group followed. His man reported that Shadow had vanished. He laughed, thinking he must have tricked that girl and abandoned her in the wild. He told her brothers to go capture the girl and play for a bit first. He boasted that if they stuck with her, they would live a good life. Sea women were already coming their way. Her men cheered, but then they were struck down. Qin Feng had killed 5 players and received 12 tradable lifespan in total. He remarked that they were so poor it was like killing 2 small mobs. Black Plum, Big Plum was confused, asking where he had gone just now. He explained that a few people were following them, so he sent them back to town. She thought he had gone to pee. Then she rambled about his invisibility skill, wondering if going to the toilet must be very convenient for him. Could he pee and poop anywhere without being seen? But if the poop left his body, it should turn visible, right? He cut her off and told her to hurry up and lead him to the boss. A new player entered the game. She marveled at how real it felt and that she could actually feel things too. Another player noted that she was another newcomer. She was excited she had obtained a hidden class called Sacrifice. It should be very powerful, right? This would definitely be worth it for Brother Song Fi. She wondered how Brother Song Fi was doing right now. Did he know the secret about the starting points? She scoffed, wondering where that bastard Qin Feng had gone. He always cared about her all day long, but when the critical time came, he could not be relied on at all. Oh well, right now, she had a hidden class and Zhong Wei promised to help her level up. Qin Feng could just fend for himself. She was not going to care about him. She noticed the leaderboard. Rank 1, Shadow, was actually level 6. Zhong Wei was only level 3 and he still dared to boast about how powerful he was. It looks like this Shadow was the real expert. If she could stick to Shadow, she would definitely level up faster than Zhong Wei. But where should she go to find this expert? A party of players was waiting. One of them said they could not contact Swaying with the Wind. They did not have excess time to wait for him. They asked if anyone had ideas. They could not kill mobs without a healer. They were not like expert Shadow who could farm solo. One suggested they find another healer to party up. A voice interrupted. A young woman asked if they needed a healer. She had a hidden class, Life Sacrifice. Qin Feng and Black Plum Big Plum arrived at the location. Sure enough, it was the Golden Ghost ship. He told her to hide here and be careful of ambushes. He would go deal with the boss. She started to tell him to be careful, but he was already gone. Due to the influence of the ghost ship, the area became a violent domain. The rate of loss of lifespan in this domain was 100 times normal. At 100 times the rate, staying 15 minutes here was equal to consuming 1 day of lifespan. This kind of temporary violent domain did not have a huge effect. The Golden Ghost ship was level 5, gold tier special boss. A countdown showed 45 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. There was a time limit for special bosses like this, but it was fortunate there was still 45 minutes left. It was more than enough time to kill it. Qin Feng attacked. Instant Shadow Slash struck, dealing 549 damage 3 times. He followed with a Venom Dart. A critical hit landed 621 damage. Then a Stealth Break strike. To eliminate the Golden Ghost ship, there were a few challenging points. First, many people did not know where its weakness was. Its real weakness was not the skeleton, nor the ship itself, but the Ghostfire Bell at the tip of the ship. His attacks targeted that weak point, dealing over 2,000 damage. Second, when its weakness was attacked, it would control the surrounding water body and launch a massive area of effect attack. This water pillar had abnormally high damage. Early stage warriors wearing a set of silver armor could barely take a hit. It was a good thing the Shadow class had sufficiently high agility at the start, otherwise he would not have been able to dodge. Third, after the area attack was done, the boss would summon 12 decaying water ghosts. Every one of them had the capabilities of silver tier. The 12 ghosts would attack wildly. Most parties would be in a state of frenzy by then, and the Golden Ghost ship would summon a decaying water ghost every 3 minutes. If one was not fast in dealing with them, the number of ghosts would get larger and larger, eventually resulting in full party elimination. But Qin Feng had been in a state of invisibility since the start. They would not be able to spot him. He just needed to find the right angle. He used Instant Shadow Slash again, this time striking all 12 ghosts at once, dealing over 1,000 damage to each. They were destroyed instantly. He continued attacking the boss's weak point. Critical hits and venom darts dealt 627 and 207 damage repeatedly. From her hiding spot, Black Plum Big Plum watched in awe. This was the ranked 1 expert Shadow. It was too powerful. He appeared and disappeared without a trace, and the boss had already lost half its health. It did not even have the opportunity to counterattack. Qin Feng spoke to her. He said, "Little Black, I will die in a while." She was shocked. What? He told her she did not need to do anything. Just wait for him to revive. She was confused. Why did he not have the upper hand right now? And what was Little Black? She was called Black Plum Big Plum, not Little Black. It sounded like a dog's name. He simply replied, "Got it, Little Black." Meanwhile, the boss player, who has yet to be named at this point of time, was frustrated. Let us call him Mob Boss A. He had been careless. He used to kill legends one after another back in the day. But now he was being bullied by a little girl. One of his men reported that they had found a little chick. She was at the cliff right ahead. That bastard Shadow was challenging the boss solo at the bottom of the cliff. Mob Boss A rallied his brothers. This time he had gathered all his brothers. He did not believe he could not kill him. Back at the boss fight, Qin Feng knew there was a fourth challenge, and the most difficult one to deal with. At half health, the Golden Ghost ship would launch a massive area of effect Soul Surge. He would not be able to move for 5 seconds. The current him could not dodge it. The Soul Surge struck. He took over 1,000 damage. He died. He lost 326 days of non-tradable lifespan and 1,087 days of tradable lifespan. From the cliff above, Mob Boss A and his men watched. They laughed. They thought it served him right. People called him expert a few times, and he got so arrogant to challenge a gold boss by himself. They noticed a large lifespan light orb and realized he was rich. There was at least 100 days. Mob Boss A ordered his brothers to charge. The boss had only half its health left. They would kill it directly. They could also pick up such a huge lifespan at the same time. She mocked that this was the lifespan after half was lost. That big dog deserved it. Today, he, the underdog, was going to devour this big dog. The scene changed abruptly, prompting their confusion. Mob Boss A and his group charged toward the boss, but they were quickly overwhelmed. One of them cursed, wondering why the boss was so powerful. How did Shadow manage to attack it to half health? It was unbelievable. They had just entered the swamp and were instantly killed by the water pillar, and there were so many small mobs. How was anyone supposed to fight this? Mob Boss A refused to give up. They had suffered great losses, but he told them to continue heading over. Qin Feng returned to Black Plum Big Plum's hiding spot. He asked why there were so many lifespan light orbs. She told him he came back really quickly. A group of people had noisily charged over but were wiped out by the water column. He understood. They overestimated their own strength. He remembered that in his previous life, he had suffered greatly because of this ghost ship too. He explained that the golden ghost ship would only release the immobilization skill once. The rest of its health was very easy to deal with. When it received damage while below half health, there was a fixed chance it would disappear and reappear far away. Normal players would find it difficult to kill. He launched poison dart skill towards the lantern. When the monster tried to attack Qin Feng, he launched his instant shadow slash he had long seen through its movement patterns. Mob Boss A's group spotted Qin Feng fighting the boss again. One of his men pointed him out. He told them they would find a chance to take them both down. Black Plum Big Plum saw the group returning. She knew they kept causing trouble. The expert was about to kill the boss. She could not let them get their way. She raised her hand and called upon her power. God says that there will be lightning today. Lightning struck the group. One of them cursed, asking who was attacking him. Another spotted the mage over there. Mob Boss A was furious. He ordered his men to kill the bitch. They attacked Black Plum Big Plum. She cried for help, but they overwhelmed her. Meanwhile, another group silently watched the scene ominously. Qin Feng continued his battle with the golden ghost ship. He noted that it was almost dead. As expected of the golden ghost ship, although it was only level 5, it was still quite difficult to kill solo. His damage was too low and the battle took too long, attracting many people to spectate. He surveyed the area. There was a group of people on the cliff. They looked like the ones who just died. There was a group beside the swamp. They looked like they were waiting for him to kill the boss before killing him and snatching his loot. He delivered the final blow. He slew the golden ghost ship, gaining 4,800 experience points and reaching level 8. He obtained 7 evolution points in 216 days of tradable lifespan. A server-wide announcement appeared. Player Shadow of Shelltown was the first in the server to kill a gold-grade boss. He received 3 reputation points. Players across the server reacted with shock. A gold boss. First kill. Who was this Shadow? He was so strong. Some wondered which country's starter town Shelltown was. Others proudly claimed the first person to kill a gold-grade boss must be from their great Han city. In Shelltown, players were equally stunned. It was just recently that Shadow was fighting the bronze boss by himself. Only a short time had passed and he already killed a gold boss solo. Why was the difference between him and the rest so huge? Qin Xiaoyu noticed the announcement. This Shadow was indeed the strongest. If he could carry her to level up, then she would be able to see Brother Song Fei. A player group watched from a distance. One of them noted that the boss had actually dropped so much loot. That guy Shadow hid using invisibility and did not take them. He must be wary of them. The leader ordered Guang to release his skill and find that guy. Kill him and they would take the gold boss loot for themselves. Guang summoned a phantom horned eagle. The eagle glided above the battlefield and dropped its feathers. Qin Feng recognized the skill. A phantom horned eagle. He did not expect this hunter to learn this anti-invisibility skill so quickly. No wonder they were so confident in killing him and snatching the loot. But it was a shame that his assassin class came with +1 invisibility level. Level 1 anti-invisibility could not break his skill. The hunter reported to Zhang Li that he was gone. That guy must have run away after seeing so many of them. The leader smirked. At least he was smart. He ordered them to protect the loot first. Do not be careless and prepare for battle at any time. The ownership rights for the boss loot was 5 minutes. After the time was up, the loot would be theirs. Just as they approached the orbs, they were struck by multiple slashes. Qin Feng noted it is much quieter now. He wondered where that little black ran off to. He said it is fine. He will find her later. He had enough evolution points to upgrade Greedy Hand. He would upgrade the skill first before getting the loot. He evolved Greedy Hand from Diamond to Epic. The skill now had a 220 to 300% chance to obtain an extra loot drop. The extra loot had a 100% chance to be 1 tier higher. He was thrilled. 100% chance. This was a direct upgrade. He would gather all the light together and squeeze them. He used the skill. The golden glove grabbed all the orbs at once. A bright light shone the surrounding. He received 7 evolution points 3 times over. He received 216 days of tradable lifespan 3 times over. He received special items to Ghost Fire Bells. He actually obtained 2 Ghost Fire Bells. He examined the item. The Ghost Fire Bell was a special item. When equipped, he would not lose lifespan when killed. Cooldown was 1800 seconds, reduced to 1560 seconds. It had a passive ability called Soul Absorb. When killing monsters, the lifespan dropped increased by 20%. Having 2 Ghost Fire Bells at the same time would cause this effect to double. It also had an active ability called Soul Shock. Shake the Ghost Fire Bell to immobilize all enemies within a 100-meter radius for 3 seconds. Cooldown was 600 seconds, reduced to 521 seconds. He realized the Ghost Fire Bell was not considered equipment. It was an item. It did not occupy equipment slots. And 2 Ghost Fire Bells only took up 1 inventory slot. Very convenient. Suddenly, he heard a cry for help. Black Plum, Big Plum screamed, "Expert! Expert, save me! Ah, what are you guys doing? Don't come over." Qin Feng's attention snapped to the sound. "Little Black," he called out to her, asking where she was. Black Plum, Big Plum was cornered. Her attackers mocked her, saying her resistance was quite strong. They told her there was nowhere to escape and to come over quietly. They promised to make her feel so good she would ascend to heaven. She struggled, but then something changed. She looked back. One of her captors noticed something was wrong. Then a strike. She broke free and ran. She leaped from the cliff. One of the men remarked that she really jumped. This girl was quite resolute. Black Plum, Big Plum contacted Qin Feng. She told him there was no need to save her anymore. She had already died and returned to town. It was painful, but it was a good thing that their party's tradable lifespans were all on. Captain Wang Meng Qin Feng told her to wait for him there. He would pass the stuff to her. She thanked him and said he had worked hard. Qin Feng checked his evolution points. 210 points remained. As expected, it was not that simple. The higher the skill level, the more evolution points it consumed to evolve. He decided to raise his attacking skills. The higher his damage, the stronger the boss he could fight, and the better loot he could receive. He evolved Instant Shadow / twice more, raising it from Platinum to Jade to Diamond. The flash distance increased to 27 meters. Invisibility state lasted 9 seconds. It dealt 7 slashes to all enemies along the way. Slash length increased to 4.1 meters. Every slash now dealt 300 additional damage. He used 2, 3, and 5 evolution points, leaving 3 points. He also evolved Backstab Enhancement from normal to bronze to silver to gold. When launching, backstab damage increased by 30%. After evolving Instant Shadow / twice, its damage doubled. Even if not in stealth mode and not breaking stealth, he could deal 3000 damage. If stealth was broken and a backstab was performed, the total damage from 7 slashes could reach 6000 to 7000. He examined his loot from the Golden Ghost Ship. Gold tier bosses normally dropped 2 to 4 silver equipment, with a small chance of dropping gold equipment, but due to the effects of Greedy Hand, he received 11 gold equipment and skill books, 2 platinum equipment, and 1 platinum skill book. 3 of them could be used by assassin types. The Ghost Ship dual blades were platinum tier assassin class weapons. Attack plus 136, agility plus 22, attack speed plus 24%, plus 17 armor penetration. The equipment requirement was level 5. Its unique effect was that every normal attack would deal damage twice. He noted that this effect was not very useful since he basically always used his skills to deal damage. But the base attack of this weapon was quite high, and there was also 22 points of agility. Attack speed would also increase skill casting speed and reduce skill recovery time, making it not entirely useless. The armor-piercing properties also had quite high benefits. He also obtained Ghostfire Leather Armor, Gold Tier, Physical Defense plus 25, Fire Elemental Resistance plus 50, Damage Block plus 14, Health plus 419. The equipment requirement was level 5. Leveling up had not increased his constitution yet. His current health was at 350, and this equipment actually added 419 health directly. When he wore this, most players now could not even break his defense. He made his defensive equipment invisible and used the starting appearance of the assassin class. This way, others would not be able to see his equipment with their eyes, and would have to enter the game interface to check. The last piece was a skill book, Ghost, Shadow Blur, Gold Tier, Assassin Class Skill. Its passive granted a 15% dodge rate. Dodge activation granted immunity to all damage. He recalled that this skill was considered very weak in his past life because it was very difficult to increase dodge rate in this game. If one spent effort to raise dodge rate, their other attributes would be low. If dodge was not activated, it would be very dangerous. But he was different. He could evolve skills infinitely. While raising dodge rate, he would not sacrifice other attributes. There were only benefits for him. He learned the skill. It was time to return. The remaining items were all warrior, priest, and archer items. He could sell them at a 10% discount to Wang Meng, although they could not afford it now. With Wang Meng's personality, he could definitely sell them on credit. This big upgrade was all thanks to Little Black. Without this koi, you would not have found a level 5 golden ghost ship to attack. He must really thank her. As he walked through the forest, players spotted him. It was Shadow. Panic spread. Some ran, shouting not to block them. Others begged not to be left behind. One man screamed, telling Shadow not to come near. Shadow ignored those cries and simply slashes at them. Mob Boss A begged for mercy. He said he was wrong and would not do it again. He called him brother, expert, daddy. He said he only had less than 1 year of lifespan left. Qin Feng responded coldly. When he attacked others, did he think about his own fate first? He struck. A system notification appeared. He had killed too many players. He received 1 layer of killer status. Currently at the first layer of killer status, 75% of current lifespan would be lost upon death. He was unconcerned. He had the Ghostfire Bell. If he was careless and died once, he would not lose any lifespan. He returned to Shell Town. Players noticed him. It was Shadow. He had returned after killing a gold boss. Some speculated that he must have exploited bugs to solo the boss, which was why it did not drop anything. Others wondered why he was not wearing any equipment. A group approached him. Their leader Shen Shao apologized. He said it was their mistake. They had bought an assassin skill book using their lifespan. He offered it as a peace offering, hoping Shadow would accept it and let bygones be bygones. The skill book was Impale. Common tier assassin class skill. It was a single target skill. Upon hitting, it added 20 points of attack and caused a 2-second stun. Cooldown was 22 seconds. It was a control skill. Qin Feng accepted it. After he left, Xian Shao's men complained. They had been killed by him and yet they had to give him a skill book. Was this not too cowardly? When had they ever been treated like this? They suggested using their connections to gather people. With everyone contributing, even a single spit from each of them could drown him. Why should they be afraid? Xian Shao silenced them. He explained that Shadow was growing so fast and leveled up by himself. He must have a huge secret. As long as they found him in real life and kidnapped him, not only would they learn this secret, they could even make him their slave to gather lifespan for them. His men praised his plan. One suggested having the family send a woman over to try and get information out of him. When he heard Shadow's voice just now, it sounded very foreign. He was definitely not within their circle, which meant this guy was very poor. Xian Shao agreed. They would find a professional beauty. He did not believe Shadow would not fall into their trap. Qin Feng found Black Plum, Big Plum in town. He told her to accept the trade. It gave her some items. She was thrilled. She thanked him profusely, though she reminded him again that she was called Big Plum, not Little Black. She examined the items. This skill, this necklace they had, instantly multiplied her damage several times, and her mana regeneration had more than doubled. She thanked him again. He told her she was welcome. He was just following their agreement. He asked her to give him the space ring. She handed it over. She mentioned that when she was escaping in the forest, she discovered an underground cave. It seemed to be the entrance to a ruin. She asked if he was interested. First, it was the golden ghost ship. Now, a ruin entrance. It was really beneficial to become friends with this girl. Sincerity was mutual. If he had not given 2 gold equipment, perhaps she would not have told him this information. With the space ring, his inventory finally reached 27 slots. He asked where Wang Meng was. Once he sold the items to them, he would go to the ruins to take a look. She told him that the captain and the rest had gone to train the new priest. They would not be back anytime soon. She had marked the ruins entrance on the map. There was a stone slab on the ground behind the bushes. She moved the slab away and hid inside while escaping. But she had only walked a few steps inside when she heard screams from within. She was so terrified she ran away. Otherwise, she would not have been caught by those guys. He said he understood. He would head over to the ruins right now and trade with Wang Meng when he got back. Before she could respond, he was gone. He considered his options. He originally wanted to find some place to grind to level 10, but since there was a ruin, there was no need to grind. There were mainly 3 types of ruins that would appear in a beginner's town: tombs, cursed ruins, and temples of faith. No matter what kind of ruins it was, the small mobs were all bronze tier. There might even be some silver tier monsters. To him, they were a sea of lifespan and evolution points.
Hope you enjoyed the recap. Smash that like button if you did, and subscribe for more. See you next time.